Hello, hello. I am in the craft camper and working on fall today. Working on fall. Welcome to my channel. This is Dory with Prairie Scraps, and we're doing all things crafting. So welcome to the channel. I appreciate you being here. And if you're watching on the replay, put hashtag replay. Let me know that you were here. Oh my goodness, this is gonna pop out. Oh, oofda. Rough day already in the tech world, I guess. Trying very hard. All right, weird angle there. Okay, maybe that'll work. I don't know what's going on. I need to fix it. I'm ignoring. I'm just gonna be super honest with you. So I'm ignoring all the technology issues as per usual. Okay, so I'm excited to be here. I've got a farmer's market this week, and once you're done with the 4th of July things, patriotic items, it's hard to figure out what to do next. So I thought I'd do a little bit of fall, try to do some like evergreen, meaning it's good all the time. So those are the things I'm kind of focusing on so I can have it at the farmer's market. I don't want to do too many things because you just want to be available. So hello, I welcome you here. And I've actually got a board that I did it's a thrift store find. Thrift store, yes. I think actually, I don't know how much I paid for it. Maybe like 50 cents or $1. The reason being is this is like it had like this coating on it. I didn't do the back. And the reason why is they've got these nice hooks on it. It was originally $15.99. It looks like it's a really old item. Kellogg, Minnesota, but made in China. Boutique and Company. Welcome home. It was very gaudy, very ugly. So we're gonna go ahead and it's kind of down to the particle board. Oh, I haven't even cleaned it yet. So we will start with doing that first. So this board, it's really just particle board. I never imagined, I kind of took a chance on it because I kind of thought that it would never sand off. It was like that kind of plasticky feel coating on it. And so I really just thought it wasn't going to come off at all. So I thought I'd have to like paint over it. But fortunately, that is not the case. And I'm going to start out, I think, with some Dixie Belle Up in Smoke gel stain. I almost said tobacco. Got tobacco too, but we're gonna do some gel stain on the bottom of it so that when I put paste over the top or paint over the top, that got a little too bubbly, might be a little on the warm side. This is a water-based product, and I didn't look too hard for what I need at all. This is a water-based product, so it's non-toxic. Just gonna use a sponge for this particular project. You can use a sponge. I've actually used to use this. I've even used my wipes just to get it spread on evenly. And what I'm looking for is, I'm not necessarily, this is not going to be the color of it. Maybe it will. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. This is kind of exciting. We don't know yet. But we're gonna do a fall sign. Little pumpkin spice sign. I would say this is about a 10 by 12 size board. You could use anything. I'm often looking for boards that I can pick up at the thrift store. I kind of like how this is actually coming out. I don't know if you can see this, but it's kind of looks like whitewashed at this point. So I'm just gonna keep going. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll just stop with the tobacco, or not tobacco, Up in Smoke. It's a gray color. And I was thinking gray. So we'll see. We'll see what we do from here. I was thinking rather than doing the browns like I kind of like to do to make things look old, I would try using the gray instead. The one thing I have noticed though, when you use the gray as a base or as a, around the edges to make things look kind of roughed up and old, vintage, rustic, whatever you want to call it, The gray kind of gives it like an hello H. To see you. The gray kind of makes it look a little more modern, which is kind of weird. So maybe we're going for it. And I tend to like the farmhouse look. So maybe we'll end up with modern farmhouse. That seems to be a thing recently. Who knows? I'm kind of liking the white that's coming through. The nice thing about, well, the one thing I like about using this particular Dixie Belle stain, because it's water-based, I can totally do the stain indoors in my little camper, and I don't feel like I am gonna be, it's non-toxic, so I don't feel like I'm gonna be, can't breathe or can't get out, you know, because I'm in a little enclosed, although the camper has plenty of leaks in it. As far as air goes, it's definitely not maintaining air all that much. It's got its leaks. It's a camper. It's an old camper. So it's definitely got its... Trying to get all the edges to make sure they're well covered. We don't want to get done and then be able to see the edges and go, oh, that doesn't look like what I was thinking. And I like to use this stain kind of like in street, you know, like in the way the grain would go with the wood, because then it looks like, you know, even though this is a particle board, cheapy type of, you know, thrift store find that I have, I want it to look like it was intentionally done to look old. To look this way. We want it to look good. We want it to look like real wood. Let's see what we got going up here. Just want to make sure all the sides are kind of covered. It is, I'm noticing it is sort of absorbing up a lot of the stain. You see that? I actually kind of like it. I'm not a fan of the brown showing through. So also what I've learned with this stain is that if you over rub it, like put it on and then don't over rub it, it will rub off. And that you don't want. So when you see something you like, kind of let it dry between. Don't keep rubbing and getting it off. So that is my hardest advice. I have a hard time following my own advice. So thanks so much for joining my channel here. If you have not already, make sure that you subscribe and like the channel. And give me, you know, a little thumbs up. Hit that bell notification so you know when I go live, so that you can help me out even a little bit more. I'll try to get this lid kind of washed off so that we aren't making a mess in the camper. Just keep it neat. I always have a great idea of keeping everything nice and neat, but there's always kind of a trail of paint wherever I go in here, so that's not too bad. Got it cleaned up. It is water-based, so it's totally non-toxic. You could even do this with kids. I really like the natural. There's a natural color. I love that color. The Tobacco Road, that was the one I was talking about. It's a brown. I like it for antiquing. But this natural, like, neutralizes, au natural, neutralizes your wood color. So if you have a wood project that's kind of that orange color, it'll neutralize that. Okay, let's see if we can get this dried up here. What are you ready for fall? Oh my gosh, I feel like, 4th of July happens and I'm super reluctant to go right into fall, but there's really not much that happens between 4th of July and fall. So as a maker, I'm trying to get into the next season ahead of time. And two, if you are wanting to make your fall things, if you enjoy making fall decor, one of the things you want to do is do it a little bit ahead of time, because you want to order your supplies before fall comes. Hope that makes sense. Not because you want to have it done, but you know, if you're wanting to make fall decor for in the fall, not at Christmas, you want to order your supplies right now. So that's what I'm getting at. So anyway, it feels weird to be doing fall so early, but I tell you what, they were starting to put out Christmas in Hobby Lobby this weekend, as uncomfortable as that makes me feel. Okay, so we've got a base of that. I don't know if you can see that. It's still a little, maybe a little moist yet. I'm trying to be patient, but the gray at least doesn't show through that. But I can still see that brown particle board coming through. So I think we are going to do, because I'm seeing white, I was going to do vanilla, but because I'm seeing white come through, I think I'm going to paste on some bright white. I'm going to check this. I think this one is, yeah, pretty much completely out. I think we can get rid of that one. I don't know. There's like crustiness in there. Maybe it'll help me. I don't know. We'll try it. Oh goodness. Why do these things not work for me? Okay. I'm probably gonna have to draw from both places, I think. I'm gonna use some chalk paste to just add to this what I've got going on here. I don't know how it's gonna turn. Oops, that's maybe a little bit too watered down yet. So trying to use up all those bits in my jar. They're definitely drying up because there's hardly anything in there. So once you start getting air in there, so it feels like a busy week already. And we're only on Monday. What are you guys doing? What creative things are you doing this week? And by creative, I don't mean you have to be doing crafting. It could be really anything. I think I'm gonna go all the way out to the edges. And I'm just doing kind of more like a whitewash on this. And we can kind of play with it and see what we want to do. Sometimes it's easier to go more and then come back. It's a fine line between looking like a toddler made it and a wasp. What is a wasp? What does that mean? And making it look rustic. So I'm trying to make it look rustic, but you'll have to bear with me. It might look more like a toddler did it. Who knows? But I'm just trying to get kind of a whitewash look on here, because I do have that gray kind of coming through from the I always want to say Tobacco Road, from the Voodoo paste or Voodoo stain. And then there's some white that was on the board that didn't come off completely. And I'll be honest, when I was sanding it sanded off pretty easily. And then when it no longer looked, because it had like pink and blue, it looked like an 80s piece. Seriously, it looked like an 80s piece. So I was just trying to get rid of that blue, and it was a little bit off-white. So when I started getting kind of a hint of white, I was like, I'm okay with the white, and I really am. So we're just gonna do a little bit of whitewash here. I just don't want it to be goopy around the outside edges. This may not be enough. I may have to do a little bit more. thickness here. Just to make it look natural. I don't know. And I want what I do on top. This is the other part of it. I want what I paint my sign to come through. So I don't want it, I want it to look like it's weathered wood, you know, or even like, yeah, weathered wood, rust, a little bit on the rustic side. But I don't want it to look blobby. I don't want it to look like a 2-year-old did it. I don't know. Sometimes it's just in knowing when to stop, when enough is enough. Let's see if we can get some. Some water in there. Actually, both of these containers are not doing great. Or there, that's a little bit better white, I think. I just want it to be so when I put down my sign, that the sign shows up, the lettering. I don't want it to kind of fall in, let's just say that. I want it to look like it's intended to be rustic. I want it to pop. I want you to be able to read it easily. There. I'm liking the thicker coat, that's for sure. Don't like how the edges are looking over here. So. Gotta be careful though, because when you go down the side and just kind of go like that, then you get 2 edges on it. It's not just one. So just working quickly here, trying to make sure that my background is going to be nice and it will pop, whatever we do. Okay. Definitely gonna put some water in there to, if you have trouble, like you get to the low of the bottom of the jar in paste, or if it's in a warm place, you know, with the summer dryness, if your pastes are getting dried out, a good thing to do is just go ahead and spritz a little bit of water in there. This actually looks almost textured a little bit in some places. I'm gonna get this dry. See if I have some patience for drying. Thank you, I made that. This is my Snoopy shirt. Thanks so much, Christopher. Says happiness, what does it say? Grow happiness. It's got Woodstock and Snoopy. I have a transfer that can make that. So exciting. It is Snoopy's 75th anniversary this year. So that's kind of exciting. Got a little thick goober down here. Just gonna take a little, might have gone a little aggressively with that, but I just want to get it knocked down a little bit so it's not quite so thick. There we go. It was kind of a raised area of the chalk paste there. The bad thing with going down to the bottom of the barrel on my jar of chalk paste is that it does kind of get little piece of chunks in it, chunky. And I can always come back with a piece of sandpaper around the outside edges or even in spots just to kind of give it a more knockdown, vintagey look, rustic look, whatever. I just don't want my sign to look like perfectly, you know, sheen. I just want it to look like something you can put up and enjoy. I want it to pop. All kinds of things I want, right? As soon as I get this dry, I'm gonna do a layer of wax. And the purpose of the wax is because this is so porous. This was a kind of, when I sanded it down, it kind of got down to a bare, more of a particle board. So I want to make sure that we seal all of these colors and the board up from any moisture, and this will just prevent the board from, or hopefully it'll prevent the paint job I've done from coming up. We want it to be consistently covered here. So I'm just putting a coat of wax, clear surface wax on here. You know, like Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. We just want to get it nice and sealed, not too thick, because anywhere you go too thick on the wax, then our transfer doesn't stick either. So again, a little dab will do ya for wax. And we're gonna get our transfer out here, kind of get rid of some things here so we can work on our sign. So that's it for the kind of prep work for this thrift store find. Like I said, I think I probably maybe spent, I'm dropping things, maybe spent $1.50 on this, because I knew it would be difficult to repurpose it. It definitely looked very 80s, because it was like the pinks and blues, and it looked like a little child's sign in the room. I can't remember what it said. I did take a picture beforehand, so I have to look back. I don't even remember what it looked like. It was bad. In fact, I'll probably look back at it and go, wow, that's really bad. Okay, so this is the transfer we're going to put on here. It says pumpkin spice and Jesus Christ, and it's got a big, I don't know, you could call it, maybe it's chai latte tea if you don't do caffeine. But this was in our new launch just early last week. And I'm going to take it off, keep your backing, take it off the backing, and we're going to actually use our fuzz cloth here, get a little fuzz on it so that it doesn't stick too hard to our surface and peel all that paint we just put on there, all that paste we put on there. It is a hot, muggy day in Idaho, United States, and so I've been running out, putting the laundry up. It's drying super fast because it's hot out there. And then, of course, I come in, try to cool off. And what do you guys do to cool off in the summertime when it's hot? It's got to be close to 90 degrees here, which is pretty hot for Idaho. We are kind of a fair weather area. All right. I'm just going to center this, and I can see this board is a lot bigger than this. So we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to start out with the pumpkin spice part of it. You want to make sure you get all the bubbles out, and if you see a little, like, I can see a little piece of something, like a little, I want to get that out of there, because anywhere that the green part has a little air bubble or something, that will cause it to kind of come up. So we don't want to do that. I'm going to go ahead, and this is a new color that just came out. It is called Ash. It is beautiful gray color, and I'm going to do the lettering first. So we're going to put down the lettering and then peel to reveal so it doesn't dry up too much. This is chalk paste, and it is also water soluble, non-toxic, and so you can, like, it's the same stuff I was using with the white, just in an ash color. I'm really excited about this color because we have a lighter color called Storm that's great, and I'm telling you, years and years I've been using that one for kind of my staple gray farmhouse color. So I'm excited to have something a little darker to work with now. This ash is gonna fit the bill. So we're gonna I'm doing the lettering all in this ash color. And then from there, I'm thinking about doing sort of a, I don't know, I'm not sure I want to do solid orange. And there's some stars over here. So I'm not sure, I don't want to do those in gray. I want to get those in some other color as well. So we'll see. We'll see where we go here. We'll see what we do. See what happens. So this, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in the postage this time around, but all of my pastes and inks were very heavily upside down and all to one side. It's kind of crazy. They usually don't. I mean, they'll shift around, but not so hard that like half of it is empty, or seems empty, I should say. It's not empty. It's just it's all shaken to one side. All right, we're gonna peel to reveal this quickly because we don't want it to dry out. Oop, there it is. I'm gonna go nice and slow, see if we can get this to come off. So we want it to look nice. Definitely got some dry places. It was drying quickly while I was wiping my hands. So I think pumpkin spice, Jesus Christ. My C is not looking great here. Neither is my N. So I'm gonna try drying this up a little bit and then seeing if I can lay it back down and correct this Christ part. See if we can make some corrections. I'm not sure. Like I said, I think I took too long and let it dry. So if this happens to you, all you have to do is, if it doesn't work to lay it back down right away, yeah, see that C is still, just let me show you. The rest of it looks really good, but the C is kind of shadowy instead of the way we want it to look. So I'm gonna put it down, and then I'm gonna take my wipe, which isn't very wet, but it is somewhat wet, and I'm gonna run over it just to kind of clear some of that paste off of it and see if I can't get it to stick that way. And still, that did not work. Sometimes you just got a little bit of extra zhuzh and you can get it figured out, but sometimes no. I don't know. I could. Come on. Print my C. And it's just not going to work this time. Alright, I'm going to reprint this N. That was one of the first parts that I printed, and it's there. That N fixed itself. Oops. Now see, I was being impatient, and my and, let me show you that. See, I'm sorry it's upside down, but the N sign kind of smeared, and so did my N. But it redid the N. So I think the N, yep, I'm definitely causing myself more problems at this point, trying to do the fixes. Sometimes it's just better to leave things as they are. But I want to lift some of this up. And then we're going to lay down, that just thins it out a little bit. And I think we're going to lay down some white back there because I did wipe up some of the white. And I was lifting that. I'm just wrapping it around my tool, trying to push it in towards the end so it's in the right place. Bummer. Okay. So I'm not sure exactly why this C is not printing for me. So I'm gonna stick this the backing in here, and we're gonna try my hand at a different trick. I'm gonna take this off, just wipe off that area so that the screen is cleaned out. And I'm also gonna wipe the back side of it. I don't want to wipe it onto where the cup is. If you can tell, I'm kind of just leaving everything attached on the left side of this where the cup is. And the reason for that is I want to make sure, let's see if I can get it to print this time. I want to make sure I'm in the same exact spot I have been. So I just keep that other half of the transfer down. So these are reusable transfers, and I'll just take this to the sink and wash it, and we'll make it almost as new. It will definitely have some stains going on. All right, Let's see if we got the C. Well, it's better, but it's not as I would like it. Let's just say that. Okay. There we go. Better. I'll show you that in a minute here. Let me get this closed up again. I always stain everything with red and orange whenever I use either one. And the other day I did an orange piece. Let me show you how this looks. So much better. See, you can now see that C. There's some other places where it didn't show, but, and I'm gonna go back. Let's see if I can grab that brush. Excuse me. Stay with me. I gotta grab that brush again and do a little repaint here of the white so that under the and sign, so I've got that kind of repaired. And I don't want to make it worse, but I want to fix it. I don't want it to look like I painted over it, but there we go. That was it. I'm getting this whole edge kind of better. Definitely going to need to dry that. So sometimes that just happens, you know. It's never there's never a crafting emergency. You can always fix everything. So we're just going to keep working on this and see how we can do. The other thing you could do is just take the transfer, wash it, and then come back and lay it back over and put it, you know, a second layer down if you don't feel like you like an area. Okay, so I think we're going to do that collar on the coffee mug. The coffee, yeah. I'm going to call it a coffee mug. Boy, I got a lot of orange. I can't tell at all that I like orange. Because I think I have about 3 or 4 different colors of oranges here. I'm going to keep that orange out. And then I'm looking for a yellow to go with it. So, blue and green we've got. Just need a yellow. There we go. I don't think I want a shimmer. Ooh, I like this color. This is a saffron. This is last year's fall. And then the orange color is called marmalade. That's a new color that just came out. Isn't that beautiful? So I think I'm gonna just do, I'm gonna lay this gently down here. And I'm just gonna do this pumpkin part of it. I'm not gonna do the lines or anything. We're gonna work hard to stay in the lines and just do this part. And what I want to do is, I want to do, if you saw my leaf sign before, ooh, that is definitely on the dry side, so we got to get that mixed up. But if you saw my leaf one last week, my leaf, I did some leaves, autumn accents it was called, a sign with the fall leaves. Go back and watch it if you haven't watched my live on that. That's a nice thing. Even though I did it live, you definitely can go back and watch. So I'm just taking this saffron, I mixed it up a little. I'm just gonna lay it down in different places here. We're gonna do what's called the hot mess. I did this also on my, put the marmalade down. Marmalade is a little more wet. My saffron's getting a little on the dry side, but fortunately I did put some distilled water in there before I closed it up, so that was helpful. That made it much easier to. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and grab a mini squeegee here, dig down for it, and oops, not that one, not a half one. And I'm just gonna grab all of that paste and I'm gonna let it sort of blend together just on the collar. So it's okay. I'm not looking for perfection. It's called the hot mess method because, you know, it's kind of a hot mess. And you kind of think you're turning it into a hot mess when you mix it all together. It's not exact, you know, there's not an exact science about the hot mess method, but I love how it turns out. Sometimes it looks a little bit tie-dyed, if that makes sense, because if you can get it blending enough, and if you find that you're not getting it blended enough, if it's choppy, you can blend more or blend less, add a little bit of water to it. Okay, so we've got that side on. I'm going to go ahead and peel this to reveal this so it doesn't get too dried up. Nice and slow so we don't peel away. There we go. Nice. Love it. So cute. Isn't that cute? Look at that. Such detail. Love that. Are you guys coffee or tea people? I'd love to hear. And then I think the outline of the rest of this, I'm going to do in that, coming back with that ash for the outline of the coffee cup. And then I've got some stars over here to tend to. So we'll be doing those two things next. So first, I'm going to get my marmalade closed up, get my hot mess technique here put away so I'm not making, ooh, I just got the cord. This really doesn't take, you know, a really long time to do a sign like this. You could do it all in one color and you wouldn't have, you know, it wouldn't take you as long to do it. I love doing things in a monotone color because it really does turn out nice and clean and simple. I'm kind of doing, you know, a lot of hot mess here today. So I'm going to take my tool and just use it like a paintbrush here on this top so we can get it spread out, this top portion. I can use my mini squeegee for this and see if we can get the rest of this sign done real quickly. I'm just using that ash again on this section. Put that pumpkin down, see if I can get that kind of repaired too. We had some need for repairs. I'm going to use my little tool here to get the area that I want, to just kind of get that area started where it buds up to that orange, and then we'll come back with that mini squeegee and just finish off. Real quickly, you want to work quickly. I've got air kind of blowing on here too, so I'm drying really quickly, and but it's too hot not to have it going. All right, here we go. Let's see how our mug turned out. Oh my goodness, so cute. Love it. Love it. Ooh, I do see a little section where I would like it to be orange right there. So I'm going to try to make that little curl that goes around the edge of the, what do they call it? Right there. I'm just going to get that little bit. There's a little section that goes behind the mug in the circle, and that's, I want that to be orange because it's the, well, that didn't work so great. Let's see if we can get it down real good and then take it off, do it again. And like I said, if you find that, you know, it's not exactly how you want it, you can always lay it back down later when you get this washed and dried, the transfer. So you just take it to wash it, you just take it to the sink, wash it with plain water, no chemicals whatsoever. There, that's much better. And we'll get that pea off there. I don't know that I improved it. Okay, I know it's upside down. Let me show you that right side up. I'm trying not to lose that transfer, but isn't that cute? So cute. I think this would make a great t-shirt. I think it would be a really fun t-shirt to make with our inks. We have permanent inks you can use. That would be a lot of fun. Okay, so I've been trying to keep these. I think I'm going to do these in the yellow. We're just going to take a little squeegee here. Make sure we got all the air bubbles out, because I think they're kind of like stars here. guess I could add a little orange to it too, but I'm gonna put down the, just kind of keep it clean over here. This was one of my favorite colors. Ooh, I got a big goober there. When it came out, this is the saffron. Couldn't remember the name. You guys do that a lot? I do it all the time. I'm so bad with remembering. Oh my goodness, that looks so good. Love it. Okay, nice and easy because it did kind of stick down again. All right, there it is. Isn't that cute? I think it's just cute. Gives a little bit of fall color, but not too overbearing. Pumpkin spice and Jesus Christ. Love that. Like I said, I will get this washed. And I think what I'm going to do then is I'm going to close everything up here. And like I said, this one was kind of riding all over the top. So I'm going to try to put that down in there. Get all the paste in. And then set everything aside. Get it closed up. And any of the ones that are here that are kind of getting dried up, like my saffron, I'm just going to put some water in there to keep it moist on the top, and next time I open it, you won't even know I put that water. It'll just absorb it in there. So that's the cool thing about using water-based. Okay, so I love this the way it is, but I do feel like it's got a very wide outside to it, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna do a little bit of sanding here to just kind of bring in the outside edges to the sign a little better, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense at all. Let me get this. Keep sandpaper on my table, off my table, and off my transfer. I'm going to set this aside. Give that in a minute to wash it. So like I said, I totally get it that it might seem kind of premature to be doing fall, and I know every time they change over I'm getting a different sanding. Every time they get a different actually, I'm thinking I might even go darker around the edges. I'm gonna come back to that ash. You know how we use the water to put this on? I think I'm going to put it darker around the edges using the ash, so then it accentuates what we've got going. Grab that same brush. But I know that like every time I go into the Hobby Lobby or into the stores, even Walmart or whatever, I'm going to use this just around the edges to make it just sort of darker. So instead of taking off, I started sanding around the edges there, and it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. It was kind of bringing it down to that particle board, making it look brown. And we kind of worked hard to make this look white and gray. So I'm just trying to like darken it up around the edges so that it, I don't know, just... There we go. I don't know, just has a little bit darker hue to it, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making any sense today. I think I still have a little bit of a cold going on. I had a cold last week. I'm gonna grab a little, get that around the edges here because it just blend, and I'm grabbing a little water as I go. I don't know if you saw that, but I'm just going back and forth between the paste, and I put the water in the lid of the paste, and that gets those little bits kind of moving for me. And then when I get too wet, I'll grab some real paste, and I can see like really light around the edge here, so I'm just trying to just darken it up so it looks more, I don't want it to look black, but gray. Neutral, but not weird because it's got such a big And then what I'll do is, before I get this completely finished, is I will do a clear coat on here. Just give you an idea of what it's looking like here. And I'm turning it around so I can sometimes see it in a different light. I find a lot of things I can do upside down, not just so you can see it, but sometimes it just gives me a new perspective. It's kind of a whiteness around here. Just gives me a different look at it, so it doesn't, you know, call out to me. Let's get some more. All right. And this is kind of like a water wash around the edges. I'm getting that dark on the edges too. I don't know. I'm not trying to make it look spooky, because I don't necessarily appreciate spooky, but a little bit maybe. And then if you go too dark, like I said, it's not an emergency. Just keep adding. You could always come back in and put some white highlights in if you wanted. But, you know, some of the base of the gray underneath the picture is that voodoo stain. And then I'm definitely using this ash color kind of as a base around. And that just ties it in, I think. I think it just gets it tied into the lettering and the outline of the mug, using the ash around the edges. I'm definitely kind of trying to color the outside edges here so they don't look weird. They look like they're part of it. And then when you get too much on there, like if you get too bold of a stripe going, just add a little water and water it down, because it's water based. So you can, you know, if you put too much in a spot, you can take it off a little bit. And of course, I'm being super cautious about getting onto my picture. I want it to look natural, and you can see it's wet right now, so that does make a difference. Get this around the outside edges so it's not so white. I kind of like the outside edges to be dark. It's my thing right now. So make sure you help me out. I am a small business owner, and I love sharing craft ideas, and I can do more of that. Oops, I got my hand across the back with the paste. That is totally going to come off. Sometimes I do that if you get the back, like the edges, to make it look a little bit better, you can just take a piece of sandpaper on the back. But there it is. That is our sign. I think I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. I think it looks really cute. What do you guys think? Pumpkin spice and Jesus Christ. You got some little bit of yellow stars and you know, zhuzh on the outside edge there. I think it's cute. Not bad for like $1 find at a thrift store. So thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you do all the things, subscribe, and give me a little thumbs up. That helps me out a ton. Helps me make, you know, just get more presents. Share it with somebody that you might think would enjoy getting ready for the fall projects. So thanks so much, and I hope you have a very blessed evening and keep on crafting.